Yo, what's up, people? I have been on the road for a couple of days now, and I just wanted to do an EDC update. It's the kind of videos where I feel super weird about it, but watching EDC videos is kind of fun, so let's do this. I will not show you my phone. Everybody knows how a phone looks like. Here's my wallet. Also not very interesting. Just a wallet. We put that there. Fucking mask. What else? Notebook. I like to write notes down because I forget things. And I like to keep things in lists, and I don't know. It just makes it easier. Makes my life easier with multiple notebooks that I use for different things. And I always have one on me. This happens to be the Write in the Rain, so these can get wet. And yeah, you can still write on them, even if they are wet. Now, this is a little bit big. This is the larger size. I usually carry the smaller ones, but I had this on hand, so I used it. So, what else? Oh yeah, flashlight. Nightcore MT2A. The clip is bent in a shape where I don't like to carry it, but it's a good flashlight. Don't remember how much output this has. Not too much, but also not... it's like 600 lumens, I want to say. I don't know. I don't really care either. It's reliable. That's everything that counts. And it's simple. Even more important. I have a headlamp in my car usually. I don't have it with me right now, so I don't show it to you, but the headlamp is pretty cool if you do car camping. Next up, first aid kit. Everybody has a first aid kit, obviously, in their car. I have two. I have one in the back and one in the front, in case I have an accident and I'm not able to get to the one in the back, so I have the one in the front. Will not show you what is in here, but I will show you what is on here. It's the Benchmade Zog P rescue tool. Pretty expensive, but has a good seatbelt cutter and a carbide glass breaker that actually does work pretty well. So yeah, this is cool. I think a seatbelt cutter and a glass breaker is very important to have in your car. So yeah, fixed blade and folder. I also have a fixed blade in my car. Like I said, if you do car camping, it's kind of nice to have a blade that you can process wood with, make small kindling to get a fire going if you need to, and also pry shit apart if you need to, maybe. This is the Felknieven S1. It's in a Kydex sheath from Armada's Carry, and yeah, the Kydex sheath is alright. It's pretty tight, but other than that, it's pretty good. Has those pulled-out loops. Not my favorites because they tend to not open up very easily, but other than that, it's pretty good. So Felknieven S1. The Felknievens have there is kind of a love and hate relationship people have with Felknievens. A lot of people say they're overpriced. I don't know if they're overpriced, they're just not inexpensive, let's say like this. You get a laminated Vichy 10 with the more inexpensive Felknievens, as opposed to the laminated COS with the more expensive ones, the Pro series. It's convex ground, so from here it's shaped like this, you know, convex. And then the very end of the grind, the edge is actually slightly flat. It's very good for wood cutting, actually, even though it's kind of thick. The entire blade is kind of thick. It's more like a sharpened pry bar thing, but it still cuts things well, and also has a very functional pointy tip, which is something I always appreciate in a knife. And then the tang going through the handle, so basically the handle is closed off, which means that if you are in colder environments, your hand doesn't get cold as quickly. This knife was developed for the Swedish military. I think the S1 is the standard issued pilot survival knife that the the Swedish Air Force has. So that's also why the handle is pretty thin, so that you can carry it easier on your gear, basically. Which is not great for the outdoors because the handle should be thicker, but it still works. I want to say though that the handle gets scratched up easily, and this, what is this, neoprene, whatever this material is, it can get damaged, especially by Kydex sheaths. So the original sheath that comes with this knife, the plastic sheath, is garbage, and the leather sheath is also not really great. I do have the leather sheath, but I prefer to use a Kydex. Yeah, lanyard hole in the back, jimping, or not jimping, texturing on the handle. The blade size is like 13 centimeters. I don't know what that is in inches. It's smaller than a K-bar, but also thicker, both in grind and also on the spine. Yeah, for the size it does chop fairly well, and it also cuts very good. Some people say they have troubles with the convex grinds from Falkneven. I don't. I think they are alright. Have never had chipping in the knife, or at least I should say severe chipping, just very superficial. As you can see, the coating doesn't hold up too great. I haven't used this knife too much, but it's already coming off pretty quickly. So yeah, have had this for a while, have not had too many chances to use this, but for car camping this is a pretty excellent knife, because it doesn't take up much space and it still can do a lot of the things larger knives can usually, only larger knives usually can do. So that's pretty cool. Next up, a multi-tool. I have a Leatherman Wingman with me this time because I also have to work when I'm not driving, so the Leatherman Wingman is for that. The Wingman is the same one as the Sidekick, meaning it has all these same tools except that it has a scissors as opposed to a saw, and I prefer the scissors because I already have a multi-tool that only has a saw and no scissors. So yeah, Leatherman is not my favorite company. I break them very quickly usually. Also have a Swiss tool that I prefer much more to all the Leathermans. This one is the more inexpensive Leathermans, one of the more inexpensive Leathermans. I like the more inexpensive Leathermans, the Sidekick and the Wingman, more than the more expensive ones, like the Wave and the, what else, the Charge and all those others. I know there are a lot of people that are really into Leathermans. I am not. I think Swiss tools are just better. They are more well made, but this one is lighter and has a pocket clip, which is an advantage, I would say. And now I dropped it. Shit. So, my Leatherman. I also have a random knife in the car that's always in here. This is the Victorinox. I don't know what this is. It's pretty beat up, as you can see. Has this interesting lock where you pull back to release the blade, and it has the pliers and the toothpick and the bottle opener, which I never use on this one. Yeah, this one is beat up, as you can see. This is a car knife. This is meant to do stuff that knives normally shouldn't do. Now, my EDC knife though, because this one lives in the car, this one also lives in the car, and this one is in my backpack usually, but the knife that's always on me these days, at least for the last couple days, is the Cold Steel Broken Skull. Now the Broken Skull is Cold Steel's best knife with the worst name. I don't know who decided to name this knife Broken Skull, but it's pretty stupid. And it's a shame actually, because this name kept me away from the knife for a really long time, which this is an awesome knife. It's very thin, it's super light, it's like 88 grams, which is like 3 ounces. Has a 10.5 centimeter blade length, so super long blade for the size and weight. It carries very, very nicely. I bent up that clip ever so slightly so it goes in and out of the pocket more easily. Has not so aggressive texturing, actually quite smooth. They are not this texturing is not too hard on your pants. And thin blade stock, very thin and pointy tips. Some people don't like those tips. I do like those tips quite a bit. Actually, let's zoom you guys in here. No. Okay, let me see how we can do this. Yeah, there you go. There is your tip, super thin and pointy. And this one is the old generation with CTS XHP. I used to think that S35 and CTS XHP, it's not too much different. I didn't really care too much in the past, but I think XHP is superior. It doesn't sharpen up that well. The edge it takes is not great, if you know what I mean. But the restropping capability of XHP is insane. You can strop this edge back so easily to razor sharpness. So you get a lot of edge retention out of this by just stropping it very often. So I do like that quite a bit about XHP. This has this gun bluing with DLC coating. Pretty attracts fingerprints pretty easily, but also looks very beautiful. I wish they would make this just in a stone wash or satin finish though. But in fact they actually do. They make a light version of this, which is more inexpensive. It's called the Range Master? Range Boss. It's called the Range Boss, right. Has side-tail handles and a more inexpensive steel. But I do like the XHP, I have to say. Yeah, this is one of my favorite summer knives usually, at least for the last years. Super thin, super light, very reliable. Can speak. Triad lock, locks up great. Blade centering is perfect, and lockup is pretty solid. There is no wiggle. Yeah, there's absolutely zero blade play, in fact. And yeah, I appreciate that about this knife. It's really well made for the price. But yeah, Cold Steel is kind of a weird company. The name is kind of weird on this knife, but the entire knife is very great. If you have a nice and long and thin blade, you can use it for food cutting pretty efficiently if you're on the road, which I found this knife to be a very, very nice carry for a road trip, because doesn't take that much room in your pocket, doesn't bother you over time, and still gives you a ton of blade length, and also very precise tip. Now that's my EDC update. Hope you guys liked it. Stay nice in the comments, and we see each other in another video. Goodbye.